Here's the basic form of the knee guard. You kick your opponent. At the end of the kick, you hold your shin across their hips. This prevents them from advancing on you. Here are a few of my first desperate attempts. If your opponent does this to you, remember that they're less stable than you unless they grab your neck. So use your footwork and knees to attack underneath and throw them off. To extract yourself quickly from this position, spring off your enemy's body. You shove them from the hip and extend at the knee as snappy as you can. Done correctly, the enemy is pushed backwards and thrown off balance. Generally, the angle of the landed shin correlates with the angle of the kick. Note, you really need to retain good balance. I'm very sloppy here. I fall too far forward and get too bladed, resulting in insufficient balance in my spring off and almost falling over. Balance, balance. You can see on the bag here how quickly Jap is able to kick and reset from the knee guard. He's extremely poised, so he generally stays much more upright than I do, and his leg returns downward very quickly. As ever, place your feet correctly to throw the kick. This is no different than any other kick. Slow improvement. From another angle. I'm getting a little bit more force in things now. But notice the downward direction of Jap's push-off here. His weight is actually partly on the opponent when his knee is planted, and pushing downward makes him a little lighter when he rotates back. So the knee guard comes in 3 stages. First, you kick and land. Then, you emplace your knee lower across the enemy's hips than when you landed. And finally, you spring off back to your fighting stance. I'm returning a little too slowly here, but I'm trying to improve my balance. I'm sure I'll get it eventually. Three days later, Jap adjusts me further, twists the angle of my leg, raises it up a bit, and creases my leg in. A higher leg and a less bladed torso produces a more acute angle at the hip, and chambering here creates a more forceful leg extension. I'm still very imbalanced, but at least my push-off isn't so feeble as it was. All throughout, I probably should be keeping my hands higher, but I'm a bit of a beginner. Just a bit of solo practice, and in general, to internalize anything like this will require many reps and strung in between other techniques, as we just saw with Jap. So this is a couple of months later. One more little piece. It ends in the final presentation. This was in preparation for my first smoker, and we'll see the application of both of these techniques now. Opponent advances, push him back into the kick, land, just lower, spring off.